I'm going to demonstrate some of the tools that you'll use just on a piece of scrap wood here, so we don't mess up this body. So we kind of have different levels of wood removal amounts that we can deal with. Probably the most aggressive is a grinder. So we have this angle grinder right here, and with this angle grinder we've got a wheel with some grit on here, some pretty heavy grit. This is actually intended for metal grinding. It works well on wood and kind of lasts forever on wood too. These are just cheap from Harbor Freight, okay? You can actually get an angle grinder at Harbor Freight for like 12 bucks too. People are sometimes a little bit intimidated by them at first. Really, they're not. If you use them properly, it's not a problem. One of the things that you want to be careful about is as you're holding it, just be careful that you have the guard where it's going to protect your knuckles, right? So this guard can turn around at different orientations and protect your knuckle that way. There is a handle that can go on right here. We don't really need that handle to get the amount of force that we need because we're just cutting wood. So really just kind of holding onto the barrel right here is good enough. You can also get sanding wheels, little sanding flapper wheels, so for more fine control wood removal, that works as well. So these little flapper wheels right here can be used as well for sanding. So let me get some power going here. And with this particular angle grinder, the switch here, you kind of have to press it down and then in. When you initially turn it on, there's going to be some torque, right? It's going to try to fight back just a little bit, so just give it a firm grip. So, what kind of safety things do we need to worry about here? Hair, safety glasses, hair, jewelry, right? Strings from your and earplugs if you want to do that. Face mask if you want. You saw it was shooting off a lot of stuff. You know, be courteous of the people that are next to you. Don't just shoot sawdust into their face. Right?
Or you got to be careful of this.
Yeah, we don't want to hurt the jaws of these specialty guitar vices at all. And you'll notice that when I was using the tool, I was pulling. Right, I was pulling. Don't push. You'll just you know, engage that thing and cause a problem. So we're just pushing. So you can see you can get a lot of wood out of there pretty quickly. That's why you want to have those marks on the body so that you don't go too far too fast, right? So it's pretty simple, not too scary. You know, just hold on to it tightly and you'll be fine. And always pull, you know, just kind of pull and sculpt along, right? The wood just kind of sculpts like butter with one of these tools. So that would be one way to get rid of material very quickly. We also have rasps, different types of rasps here that can be used as well. So, if you want to go old school, right? This works just great. All right, so if you don't like that, grinder, this will work as well. It removes the material nicely, just a little bit slower, but maybe that's what you want, is a little slower, right? So we've got that. There's also this little rasp here. This is a Japanese style rasp. It has a coarse side and a fine side, and it's really nice. I love this rasp. And it removes some material nicely as well. And there's a fine side as well, so you can start rough and then go over to the fine. There's some files and some chisels, but I don't think you're going to need those for what we're doing here. One of the real fun tools that we have available to us is this Bladder Sander. And the bladder sander, we hook it up to a power drill. It has a bearing on this side, so we hold on to it on this side, and the bladder will spin. We call it a bladder because this is a rubber bladder full of air, and we have a sanding sleeve over the top of that. And there's a valve right on the inside here. We just pump that up to just firm, right? You don't want to overinflate this because as it heats up, of course, the air will expand, big science lesson, and pop, big rubber pop sound. So, so we want to have a little bit of room for that heat expansion to happen on this. We've got pretty coarse sleeves on here, but you can get different grades of sandpaper, coarse to fine as well. These are available from Grizzly. That's a woodworking tool company, and I haven't found them anyplace else. That doesn't mean they don't exist anywhere else, but I just haven't found them there. So, and chuck nicely. So with this guy, and so again, we got a rotating tool. All that safety stuff plays into it as well. And you can do it this way and have all that sawdust shoot back into your face, or you can reverse the drill, right? So what's nice is you get this nice smooth contour because, of course, this is flexing, right? So it's not creating a hard edge, it's creating a nice smooth edge. So these bladder sanders are really cool. We got 3 of those to share amongst us. Yeah, there's really not, I mean, anything that can go wrong with this other than overinflation, right? You just don't want to overinflate it. Maybe not get it too hot. If the sleeve starts to slip off the wheel a little bit and exposes this cloth right here, and you start grinding on that cloth, that's going to mess it up too. That's the only thing between the sleeve and the rubber bladder there. So we want to keep that sleeve on there and not sand over that cloth area. Okay, so that allows us now to start to get this thing down to a smoother finish, right? But still, this is still really, really rough. So we still have a lot of work to do. The rest of the work that you're going to be doing will be with random orbital sanders is one option that you have available to you. So this is a disc, and it has a rubber pad on it, so it gives and kind of creates a little bit of organic shape as well. So we would sand with that. I'll go ahead and turn that on so you can see how that works. We have different grits of sandpaper. They attach with Velcro. Okay. So if you want to have the sawdust somewhat go into this little container here, you got to line up the holes of the disc with the holes that are in the bottom of the sanding pad there too. And it creates a little. Better, right? Getting better. So you start out with a rough grit sandpaper and then go down to finer and finer. I think we've got about 120 grit sandpaper. So when you're talking about sandpaper, for those of you that haven't used sandpaper before, when you go to a higher and higher number, that's coarser and coarser, right?
No.
Exactly opposite of that, right? So the higher the number, the more grains are in the square unit, whatever they're using for the square unit, right? So the more grains of sand are in there. So the higher the number, the more grains of sand. The lower the number, fewer grains of sand, and the bigger the grains of sand are. So therefore, it's going to cut more, right? So we want a nice low number for initially, and then we work up to a higher grade from there.